sure if I push this button and not that one, the science project's gonna work right this time?
Are you unique?
Wait, what?
Good morning, students. Welcome to school. Remember, the thought of the day is...
Welcome to Ecology 101, the study of the nerd and geek in their natural habitat. I'm Gary.
John.
And today we have...
Matt Martinelli.
Hey, Matt. Glad you're here today, man.
What about Rudy?
I'm here too.
Oh, Rudy's over there in the chair.
And
We're
what are
not
we called?
And we are the knights who say...
Neat cake.
Yeah, we just did an episode on Monty Python. Hey, we're recording?
Yeah, we are recording. Very good. So, all right, welcome to... We're here in class today. Today we're going to be talking... Actually, this is fun. This is really almost like we'd have a... in our class today. Now, Matt is with us. He's a writer, but also you teach...
Teach economics.
Right, economics. Ooh. So there you go. And I teach English. Of course, you work with as a counselor, right?
Yes, I work with...
So we're all in education in
the
some way. So
study
that's
of
good.
economy.
Right. And we
For
talk about
those that nobody knows.
Right. The study of nerd and geek. Now, one of the things is we talk about the our characters. We love where characters go and characters' arc. And actually, John had an idea for our episode today about the hero's journey, and that's a whole study itself. It's how they grow, right? What they go through, what they experience to become who they're supposed to be.
Arise! Arise, riders of Theoden! Spears shall be shaken! Shields shall be splintered! A sword day! A red day! And the sun rises!
So he actually has a diagram too.
I do have a diagram.
And we're gonna go through that today and talk. And you know what? Before we start though, let's preface real quick. I know each one of us has a project out there we're working on.
We do.
And maybe we could. Well, I know I do.
Okay.
And maybe we'll go ahead and let you guys share what you're working on, and maybe just kind of do your elevator speech. You prepared that, right?
I'll try.
I'll try.
Give it my best try.
All right. So Matt, tell us about your book, a bit about it, and then we'll get into it. Okay.
The book I'll be talking about is A New Sun Rising, which is a story of a group of kids who are stranded on a planet that's been invaded by alien squids. And they're searching for their father, who's the leader of the resistance against the aliens. And along the way, they join a traveling circus.
Wow, there you go. Nice. Well, it's got everything in there. So adventure, and that's
So they're carnies.
Yes, they are, yes.
with a Squidward kind of thing. Nice, very nice. John, you want to go and share yours? There it is, right there. That says it all.
It's called The Lone Wolf. It's about a young ranger set in a fantasy world that I created, really based off Dungeons and Dragons, who has some latent abilities. His village is beset upon by orcs. Tragedy happens, and he ends up meeting an unlikely sort of mentor in a rogue named Kaladin, who kind of brings him back to a certain level of morality. And at the end, they've got your typical protagonists, antagonists, not sword and sorcery, but high fantasy kind of deal.
Very good. Good stuff. He's got a dream too. Yeah, then Chronology. That's my character, Olivia Rourke, is trying to save his family through an invention. Hit hard times, and he basically wants to be the next thing, thing out there that kind of changes the world. And he ends up discovering that he affects time, and so he gets involved in a time war. And he has to decide which one is doing the best for history and people involved. So has a lot of what ifs in history. If you met certain people, what would happen? So kind of a fun story. But it's a coming of age story, basically finding your place in history. So it's fun. Again, all these characters have journeys, different set in different times, but the theme is still the same, right? Theme is still the same as how they grow, what kind of things happen to them. So that's kind of what we're going to share today. And you could apply this to pretty much anything Rudy's working on, any movies, right? The characters go through
You're working on a movie, Rudy?
How'd you know?
Yes.
As we speak, I'm filming
It's
you
a
right now.
remake of The Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, that should be really good.
Yeah, it tells on the side of the clown's perspective.
Oh, that's really important.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pisces.
All right. Okay, John, why don't you lead us out here real quick? So let's talk
So basically, when you... I don't know, what's a good... Star Wars, The Hobbit. I mean, basically, the way the hero's journey starts is they're in just the common world, right? They're in their ordinary world that they're in.
Right.
And then there is some sort of call to adventure.
Right.
So, like, you think Gandalf comes and says you want to be a burglar, right?
Right. Are you wish to take an adventure, Mr. Baggins? That's right.
So, and then just like with The Hobbit, there's the refusal to the call at first.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I just want to
Baggins
save my
own
little
adventures.
family. Exactly.
I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
And then there's sort of the meeting with the mentor. Right?
Yep.
So,
Right. He meets all the dwarf. He gets involved in what's going on in the mission. Right. Yep.
and there's usually some sort of mentor. I don't know who the mentor would be in The Hobbit per se. Would it be Gandalf
I
or
think
would
so.
it be Thorin?
Yeah, Gandalf. Yeah.
Gandalf.
Thorin is
Gandalf or
sort of
Thorin.
more of his nemesis in
Okay.
some ways. Yeah.
And then it's crossing the first threshold, so the hero comes or commits to that adventure. So
Right.
at some point, they finally said, "Okay, I'm in it. I'm in it." To
Right.
win."
I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
But I think more than that.
Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you also were meant to have it. And that is an encouraging thought.
They fully commit to that.
Leave
They-
things at home.
Yes, exactly.
The road goes ever on.
And
right.
by that point, there's like no turning back. So I don't know when that point would be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not when he meets up with the dwarves per se, but it's when probably the first sort of test. I mean, there's the crossing the threshold and then the test comes, but
Right.
it's somewhere in there. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think that there's a
You can't go back to where you were before.
yes,
Right.
exactly.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a bright line. And then there's the test, allies, enemies. So it's the tests you go through, the allies that you meet, and then the enemies that you
Right.
encounter.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day. An hour of woes and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down. But it is not this day. This day we fight. By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West!
And then this part, they break it up into really sort of four different parts. So one's the departure, which is what you get through until you cross over to the first threshold. The second is the fulfillment. And they call that between the crossing the first threshold and then approaching the inmost cave, okay, or the supreme ordeal that they get through. That's sort of the number 2
Right.
in that arc. So your fortunes sort of hit the bottom. You feel
Okay.
like you're not going to succeed at.
I can't do this, Sam. I know. It's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here.
And you have some sort of confrontation with your greatest fear.
That
your
was
greatest foe.
Mirkwood Forest for Bilbo Baggins.
Was it?
Highest and lowest place to work because that's where he found the sword. He got his courage, right?
Did he find the sword in Mirkwood?
Oh no! We got that before with the
Yeah, you got that
goblins.
before that because in Mirkwood Forest is where the spiders
Yes.
came in, right?
But he had the courage to stand up to that.
And he's the only one that could save the dwarves, right?
Right.
'Cause he's the only one who didn't get captured by them.
Yep.
So, and then it goes into sort of the third portion, which is your return to, I guess, your ordinary life.
Oh yeah.
So it's the reward, the seizing the prize, and then the road back. And then the next threshold is the threshold crossing or your resurrection, where the hero is transformed by moments of death and or rebirth and is able to return to ordinary life with new insights.
Wow. They come back a different person.
Yeah.
But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? There's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
So-
very good.
And then it's just the freedom to live at the end of that.
Yeah.
Until the next adventure, right?
Right,
If
and
you
the
write
heroes
multiple
grow.
books.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good.
And you see that in the Lord of the Rings with the sort of the hobbits, because I think they finish it and then they come back to another little journey that they go through, right? In Lord of the Rings, you remember at the end?
Are you talking to the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, the book has a totally different ending
Oh,
than
it's
the
a
movie.
great ending.
Yeah, because they defeat
They
all
come
the
back to the
orcs.
Shire,
They
and
come
then-
back to the Shire, and the orcs are running the Shire, right?
Yep. And Saruman.
And Saruman, and they have to defeat him, but they take all that knowledge that they garnered in this epic adventure and use it to
rouse the
defeat.
troops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why books were. I shouldn't say what books are going to be much better than movies because they can't put it all in there too. But no, yeah, exactly. And you could apply that to any. In fact, we a few episodes ago we talked about how enemies bring out the best in heroes.
Yes.
Right, which is
Well, I mean, come on, like Lego Batman, you can't.
Yeah, you
you
can't.
can't
Batman
be
without
Batman
a Joker.
Joker, right? Yeah, exactly. So.
And you
gotta-
make your hero by the enemy you have.
Yes, you've got to have that conflict. Otherwise, what story do you really have?
That's your crucible. They give you it could be a person too.
Smeagol's life is a sad story. Yes, Smeagol, he was once called, before the ring found him. Before it drove him mad.
It's a pity Bilbo didn't kill him when he had the chance.
Pity. It was pity that stayed Bilbo's hand. Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life.
Could be. I mean, some of those things are within the person. So
Yeah.
this hero's journey can not only be an external enemy; it could be an internal enemy.
Right.
Like in my book, my main character, has some internal conflicts with racism and faith and leadership or coming of age, kind of confidence, that kind of thing that he deals with.
Yeah.
So.
And he, and definitely he butts heads against with people and his whole issue with his dad, so things that push him out of his comfort zone, right? Very, very good. Yeah. How about your hero? Now, who's your main hero in your book?
I've got a couple. It's a young lady named Petra who's a former beauty queen that's now all of a sudden thrust into being a soldier.
Nice.
Trying to fight off these alien squids. And then her younger brother, Aiden, who's a 13-year-old kid who's now become the father figure to his younger sister. Oh, wow. So both of them have this goal to find their father.
Gotcha.
And along the way, I mean, they encounter aliens and they join the circus.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that what you always do? You join the circus and you just don't know where to go in life.
Yeah. We were just watching the whole thing with Barnum and Bailey. It's like, yeah, people did back then, So that's kind of tying in some, wow, interesting. It's an alien circus?
Well, the leader of the circus is indigenous to the planet.
Right.
But he's red, and he's got a horn.
Okay.
And he can speak to people's minds, so he's got some telepathic powers.
Nice.
Yeah, he's basically human. As human as most of us. And then there is a little 6-inch worm.
Oh, that's where your friend comes from.
Called Jeremy. His name's Jeremy, and he's like the secret to the whole book, but you don't find that out to the very end, so I'm not going to give that away.
Right, gotcha.
Then there's a blue strongman. He's part of the circus. He's obviously.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
So yeah, I got a whole cast of characters.
Nice. A circus can have all kinds of fun things in it.
Yes.
Right. Wow. The beardless woman.
When does the circus play into the book? At what point?
It's about a third into the book.
Okay.
They have to get out of their places where they're at, and then they join the circus. They each encounter the circus at different times. Petra encounters it very early on, where Aiden finds out a little bit later, and then at the end they all join back up together.
Nice.
But the circus is fun. My mentor character, my Gandalf per se, is a female who's the world's best sharpshooter.
Oh wow!
And she
like
can
Annie
hit
Oakley.
anything, anywhere, except she refuses to kill. For moral grounds, for religious reasons. So she turns out to be Aiden's mentor in this whole story, where Aiden has to figure this whole thing out. Does he go out and kill aliens, or because he's angry? His house was killed, his mom was killed.
So they're orphans. You say orphans now, right?
Well, their dad's still alive.
Oh, dad's still alive.
Yes. Yeah. So that's where for the majority of the story.
Wow. And it does take place in space, right? It's not on Earth.
It's a whole other planet. Yeah, it's a planet that's kind of like a Renaissance planet, 1700s kind of setting where art is the most important thing of the planet. Huh. So they were a little unprepared to be invaded by aliens. So,
wow.
They're using backwards type weapons and whatever they can steal from the aliens.
Wow, interesting. Oh, it almost sounds like aliens and cowboys, or cowboys aliens.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because that main mentor character, Angel, she is kind of a cowboy per se.
Nice.
A short story that I wrote, she was in, and she was wearing a cowboy hat. So.
Oh, okay, God, there you go. Nice. Well, it's kind of cool. You can have a sci-fi or fantasy, you know, but the worlds have different rules, right?
Yes, they always have different rules.
Yeah. Mine pretty much takes place here, and I really didn't put a time to it, but you could guess it's about now. Try to keep it, but it's kind of keep it current, but not too, you know, it'll be timeless, you might say. But I think with Levy, his dad really is a mentor he doesn't want, because his dad's gone through an accident that he's I guess you could say he was made a lot of money, and then he was a hero. Saved a guy from the guy was screwing out of work or something, and he saved the guy from the work, but he got injured, and in the long run they let him go because it embarrassed the company. So Levy he's mad at his dad because he basically they lost everything. So they're just, you know, like a paycheck away from homelessness, and so takes on himself to design this fizzy drive, this machine, and wants to be recognized. He's already on track for he can win a scholarship. Maybe it's going to change the world. And so he felt like this is on him. So he has a lot of animosity toward his dad, but he loves his dad. And the thing is, he ends up meeting up with Mr. Cross, who's the time traveler, extraordinary he calls himself, and he is a great, lovable character. But this guy really has a whole view on how history could be better. And he says, like, you know, I can remake your history so you don't have that event in your life. And as Levy realizes that sometimes the worst things that in life that get thrown at you help you to grow. So he has a lot of internal struggles with himself too. And then he meets characters from history as children. Martin Luther King Jr. and Annie Oakley. That's funny you mentioned that too. I actually never get to see her. They communicate through a wall, through Morse code, but that's his like lifetime crush. He'd like to meet her too. And then he also meets Thomas Edison.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Will you? I know.
That's what she looks like.
I know.
I never thought of Annie Oakley as being hot, so why would it be his crush?
He sees her for something else. He sees her.
So in the movie, she's going to be hot.
Yeah, I guess
right?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, but he sees something in her that there's something about
Johansson or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He likes it, but yeah, there you go. Exactly. Well, the girl he likes, Elise, is a very 70s. She's funny. Before my daughter got into it, that's her character. It kind of like very 70s and very just free spirit kind of stuff. But where he's very analytical and very whatever. So she, I was looking for someone that he's not wild adventurous, but they kind of balance him out. So he gets a lot of, you could say, mentoring from characters from history. So it's literally learning from history, right? Who you are, and his character arc definitely. He's got a very self-centered, me fix the world, and he realizes that you can't do it by yourself. So he learns about being a team, part of being a team and growing. So, and how you really do make history. So it's pretty cool. So, yeah.
I got a question for you. Time travel. What's your view?
On my time travel?
Yeah.
Don't do it. Oh, you mean like
can you go back in time and change the future?
Did you watch Marvel? Okay, Joe, you're gonna jump on this one. Huh? The whole what did Hulk say? You can't change it. I think part of it is the in it they figured out that time travel is possible because there's a naturally occurring element that allows that to happen, and you have to tap into that thing. So it's time, pretty much the element of time. So in this one, it's sort of figuring out. It's actually a living entity, you might say. And if you can harness it, then you can use it for time travel. So I kind of mess with that thing too.
Are you talking about chronotons?
Chronotons, yeah, chronotons, yeah, chronotons. It's a chemical. They're like
Pin particles.
I guess you could say that, but they're naturally occurring, right? Mm-hmm. Which what I thought about was
midichlorians.
No. God's first creation was.
Don't speak of those anymore.
Don't ever say that.
Yeah, right. Well, God's first creation was time, right? Because He created light from darkness. So I kind of almost call that God's first creation. And later on, you find out more about them and how it works. And it's not midichlorians. Don't get crazy. But the thing is, with time travel in this one, a lot of it is learning how to manage time, because eventually a group just learns they get the ability to do this, and they have to realize you can really abuse this thing, or you can actually use it for the right reason. So there's a whole dynamic of that also. Levy hates the concept of time because he's run out of it. So he eventually learns how to manage it. And I think the whole idea with this is how time travel affects the people in it. You know what I mean? Like if you were to change this, right? If you change one person, you could change the whole outcome of history. And I don't think am I avoiding your question? Time travel? Are you talking about how they did time travel, or
maybe we can save it for another show?
Come on,
We don't
ADD.
guess on that one.
Let's go.
yeah. Your question was, is it possible, or how do we do time travel?
ADD, can you just answer the question?
The question
No.
was-
Go back to it. Answer. No, the question was. What
So anyway, I was making coffee this morning. And I looked at the time, and it was like, I'm like, why is it?
Can we go back in time and we can change this all?
Will the court reporter please
It's
reference
okay. That whole argument about changing time and managing time. That's the whole thing, because one guy wants to change it. Mr. Cross wants to change it to remove, to make a better future, right?
That's
and another.
his point of view.
That's his point of view, because he has the ability to change time, and he says, you know what? With all the things that have happened, I really feel like if you changed Hitler, you changed, you would have a better outcome. And the fact of the matter is, you don't know all the other people that would have changed in that fact too. Someone said like, if you remove Hitler, what about people like Corrie ten Boom? What about the heroes that come out of that? You would change them all.
So the butterfly effect.
Yeah, pretty much. So that, and so basically, if you're gonna, and of course, with all these shows come out with time travel now, they're talking about things that are not. What do they say when things are not? You can change it, but they won't affect the greater timeline kind of stuff. So there are very smaller elements.
They're like the branches. So there's like 2 or 3 concepts at a time. There's like the main branch of time that you can just alter the main timeline and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the Back to the Future way of time travel where it creates
butterfly,
branches.
yeah.
And that kind of represents like the butterfly effect of it all. And then there was another one that when they were talking about Endgame, that there was another
Multiple universes.
Yeah,
kind of
so
thing?
Yeah.
Right.
multiverse where
Yeah,
you're
there's
a different person in all these different.
Yeah, every time
Right.
you make a change, it makes a whole new universe.
Right. That's why
Yeah.
Nebula could kill herself in the past and she didn't die.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? This is one that I was explaining to John. It's almost like there's a concept called that I thought about called the divine if principle, because the Bible talks about if you do this, if you make this choice, it won't happen. But if you don't, right? So it's almost like God can see outcomes, right? Because there's I think I explained before, but when in the Bible in Jeremiah, he was actually talking about, if you don't repent, there's going to be a tree that grows up in middle Israel and all these things happen. Well, they did and it never happened. So it's almost God can see outcomes, right? And so he almost kind of can guide you out of a bad situation. And so one of the things that the concept is that time has a direction because it's being guided, but people can make different choices in it. You can choose to go along with it, or you can choose to get out of the mainstream. So I think eventually, I think in the time machine they had, the guy's wife was meant to die. He tried to save her, but she still got killed another way. So I'm wondering if time is more like that, because you have someone who's writing history, right? So things are going to naturally happen the way they are. And I thought about the multi-universe, but I thought, in a way that sort of takes away from a direction. It's like man can screw it up, We screw it up ourselves, I think. And the thing is that it has because it's got a beginning, middle, and end, and then we all have choices within it. That you got free choice. So it's kind of a mix of both. So don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, good.
It's good enough.
Yeah. So what's the hero's journey in yours?
The hero's journey in that one. The hero's journey, I think Levi realizes that life happens and it's not perfect. And the thing about it is, but those things turn into good. They turn into, if you allow them, those opportunities will change you. Mm-hmm. And if you fight it, I think you're worse off. If you fight the horrible things that happen to you, it's like, you're handed good and bad.
You have to accept it.
You got to accept
Acceptance.
it. Yeah, and you're talking about the crucible we go through, right? Mm-hmm. That pushes the circus, whatever you're going through. It changes the person, and if we don't grow, we're dead. So the thing about it is, I think all the choices that we make, and even make mistakes, right? The thing about it is he realizes that, in fact, he fights with his hero complex, which is what his dad has. And he really realizes why his dad did what he did. He hated him for it. Now he goes, wow, now I understand my dad. I don't hate my dad. And what he did was right. It changed my family, but that change is going to turn to something good. He just couldn't see past his middle school eyes, you might say. He couldn't see past what's in it about me. He realized the world does not revolve around himself, but he realizes that God's got a plan for him, and he's like, all these things are meant to help him grow. Because we would be comfortable. We would not take that hero's journey. Like, I'm good, right? And we pushed out of our hobbit house, pushed out of our village, pushed out of our world, right?
Pushed off to Tatooine.
Pushed off Tatooine. Yeah, think about if Luke would have stayed. What were you doing right now, right? He would be dead. We'd be dead.
Yeah, if his if Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru hadn't died, he would have just stayed there, right? He would never want.
Yeah, or if he would have stayed, he would have been dead with them.
Yeah,
right. There'd be 3. Yeah, exactly.
Drink your blue milk.
Exactly. Yeah, you really think? And I call Rudy Marty. Marty. Anyways,
why is he Marty?
I don't know. It just came out of my... That's his journey. Anyways, but Rudy often talks about the what if comics and Marvels, right? Like different directions that could have happened. With people make choices all the time, right? So if a hero does not take the call, and almost like Esther in the Bible, someone else might take it. It's like I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to miss my calling.
Yes, you do. Calling's not a good one.
Thanks. Thank you so much. It's not teaching. No, that's good. Thanks for your vote of confidence.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Friends for, right?
Exactly. Right, friends, exactly. But, the thing is, so I think it may be applied to life, right? What is our hero's journey? What is it we're people have pushed out of?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Are you
look at yourself as a hero? I don't know.
I think we all are in our own way, right? To somebody, we're somebody's hero. Yeah. Well, even your... Why shouldn't you think yourself a hero? You make a difference in people's kids' lives. So they may not ask like it
every day,
and you do too as a teacher, right? And they come back later and they might just say, "Oh, I remember that teacher," or they might actually say, "Thank you, Mr. Martinelli," or "Thank you, Mr. Pepe," right? Master Pepe.
Yeah,
and the thing, right? But I get things from kids all day. They come in, "Oh, you're my favorite teacher ever." This year, next year will be something different teacher, right? But you never know. I know you guys are baking here. Good job. Thanks for hanging in there. That's part of your hero suffering, right? But I think that
So can a hero be a hero without suffering?
I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? Isn't that life though?
I mean, don't you have to go through some sort of trial and tribulation?
Yeah. Metamorphosis.
In order to change. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to.
It's hard to think of a hero that's not gone through some kind of trial.
Right. Right.
It makes them more human.
I think so. They connect with people.
Human element.
Sure.
With people.
Yeah.
In some ways, that's what makes Superman boring because he's so strong.
Yeah.
He's just too strong.
In the newer one though, they made him emotionally vulnerable. I mean, he really had issues with dealing with this stuff, and that was good. They brought that out because he was very broken with
Krypton.
Yeah, when he killed the what's his name?
Oh yeah.
What?
He had hurt. He doesn't kill.
What's his name?
The Zod.
Zod.
Yeah.
Zod.
He cried.
Oh yeah, it's something that he didn't want to do. It's out of character or for Superman.
But you see that in the original Superman too, when he can't save his father.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've been given all these powers and I can't save.
Yeah.
I can't save. No matter what I could. I'm faster than a speeding bullet. I can jump over.
There's just certain things.
But I just can't. I can't control that. I couldn't control him dying, having a heart attack.
And that's good because if he would, he'd be God. Otherwise, if he didn't, be able to control that. So and then
you take a character like Superman versus Spider-Man, where Spider-Man's got all kinds of problems going all over the place, every direction. Yeah. And it's those trials and tribulations he goes through that almost makes Spider-Man a more enjoyable character.
Well, that's why he's my favorite.
That's why I like. That's what I like about Batman, because he doesn't really have any superpowers.
Right.
He has to use his cunning and his money.
And his accoutrements.
Yes,
exactly. That's our word.
Accoutrements. Yes,
they had that conversation in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse where he had lost his uncle, who was the Prowler.
Oh yeah.
And when he goes back to all the other Spider-Mans, they're like, "This is the gig, man. Yeah. It sucks, but this is the gig.
This is what happens.
This is what we all sign up."
Right. Yes.
It makes us become what they are, or it just drives us even more to become better.
Yeah. It really is about choice, right? Either bitter and better. Didn't we do one piece on that with Luke? Yeah. And you can let life just tear you up. Well, and I shouldn't assume because I know, but all these guys in here, they're men of faith, right? They believe that God's working in life, and the thing is, welcome to being a hero. Hello, you got that on you. Because you know what? Because living life faith is not easy at all. It's very difficult, and it's going to get
life is going to be hard.
Yeah, he went through it too, but he goes, I'm going to give you strength to get through it. So the thing about it is, the hero is not, that's the beautiful thing. The hero is not dependent on their own strength.
Oh, I just thought of a hero now.
Paul. Yeah. Paul.
I mean, just thrown in jail and all kinds of fun stuff he got to do.
Whipped, and then he was singing though, in prison. And the guy's like, what are you doing? This hero sees things beyond their struggle. They see it's got a point. And I think that's that would be.
I don't think that at the beginning they do.
No, not at all.
I think maybe in reflection down the road they might see that.
As you grow. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Tons of great characters who've just really, they become more. You know, too, what's great is there are, what do you call it? Characters who are very shallow, you know, before they start, and then you see them deepen. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I'm just thinking of characters who have developed. I'm thinking just ones I've seen on like Star Trek or something, but they're very like, you know, very plain
Why do you
characters.
always go back to Star Trek?
I don't always go back to Star Trek. You Star Wars.
Always back to Star Trek.
I didn't do Jar Jar Binks. Anyways, but the thing
you know
is,
better than that. There's going to be a fist fight up in here.
That's a low blow coming from a Trek.
All right, so is Jar Jar the Emperor? Is he coming back in the next movie?
Misa thinks no.
Misa hope not so. But I mean, like they had a character, Tom Paris, right? He's actually up there. Tom
Is he-
Paris,
he's up there?
He's up there somewhere. Yeah.
I don't see him.
Anyways, he's behind Batman. Anyways, yeah, there's a whole string of
Tom Paris is always behind Batman.
But Tom Paris was one of those kids. He was just very like they called him howdy doody, real, you know, freckle voice, whatever. But the thing about that character was he ended up becoming a criminal. He had very low place in his life. No one thought a lot about him, but he rose to the challenge of being a hero and became. You know, you actually saw his journey all the way through the whole series of Star Trek Voyager.
Well, I still don't think about him. Okay.
What I do, but anyways, but the thing about it, he got depth to him. He was very like plastic and very, you know, whatever, very one dimensional. And the thing is, the struggle he went through helped him become more of a grounded, real, 3-dimensional person.
But isn't that what you're looking for in a book or a movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And I can connect with him.
Yeah, I think you can.
Sure. Well, you have some very connectable characters in yours too. Even Paladin, who looks very like
Paladin.
Not Paladin. I'm sorry.
Paladin.
Didn't I say?
You said Paladin.
Who's your character again?
Kaladin.
Kaladin. Anyways, sorry. He wasn't. Sorry. That's all. Scratch off. Anyways, but Kaladin could be you could like a very surface character because he's very flamboyant, whatever. Mm-hmm. But as you get talking to him, he starts digging into people's lives. You realize, no, he knows life, and he mentored romance, right? Mm-hmm. And so the thing is, that's it. And and you're applying hopefully things that you've gone through or people you know through. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's good. I'm sure with your guys too, huh? Your two brother sister.
Well, and the
they
mentor,
get deep in.
did you say one of them?
Yeah, the Angel. She's a mentor too.
Yeah, it's probably been through a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good.
So what does she teach?
Is
it Aiden?
She teaches mostly Aiden kind of just the journey through with Christ. She's a Christian character, and that's where she gets her, her skill. She calls it a God-given skill to be able to shoot, but she also says, "I will not kill."
Yeah.
And so for her, she's telling Aiden, "Hey, we have choices we have to make. You can," because he really wants to. There's a person that turns out to be real evil, the king of the planet, and he has a choice whether he's going to kill this guy or let him live. And he has to make a. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. Tough decision he has to make at the end, and you have to read the book to find out.
Hey, timekeeper, what time's our time? Because we got pizza. What time is it?
It's been 30 minutes.
Oh, that's about
Dang
right.
it.
30 minutes. Oh, so hey, perfect timing. That's very good. Hey, but hopefully we're going to hear more about all these book projects. We'll talk more about that, and maybe you'll get to read them. We'll see. We got some plans maybe to talk about how to get our books out there. So
Hey, can I do a shameless plug?
Yes, you can.
All right, okay. Quickly, I got a book cover.
Woohoo! Right, nice.
Where's the camera? I don't
Camera's
know
right there.
Camera's right there. All right, my collection of short stories is coming out around Christmas time. It's called Past, Future, Tense, and it has a story of Angel, which is this mentor. That particular story won honorable mention through L. Ron Hubbard's Writers of the Future. So
nice.
I'm kind of excited about that story.
Very good.
So yeah, that story is the last one in the story, and she has to decide whether some guy deserves to die or not. Well, you probably know the ending, but you can see how it turns out. That is even more fun.
Very good. So that's short bits of all your book and other writings too. Very good.
So this will tie in. This character ties into your actual book.
14 short stories. Of 14 of them, 3 of them are in different novels.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Nice.
So you tie it into your books, which
Yes.
is something that I like when I read books. I like other books that tie into that book.
yeah. The particular story with Angel is 20 years before the novel happens.
Oh, okay.
So she's just a kid.
Gotcha.
And later on, she's an adult. So
Pretty cool.
So you kind of get an idea of how she becomes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, I'm only shutting this down because if I don't get pizza, they'll. Anyways, we're about done too. So, but thank you so much for joining us, Matt. Thanks for being with us today, and And we hope that your journey is always growing, right? And may all your stories grow and help you guys be, whatever new sport we're doing, it'd be great. So, I'm still Gary.
Still John.
Still Matt.
And class is dismissed.
Distant light, fiery mountain beneath the moon, the words unspoken will be there soon.
Thanks for listening to Necology 101. Let's say nerd and geek in their natural habitat. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with all that's new in the fandom universe. You can find Necology 101 on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love to hear from our fans, and your input helps make this show possible. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Godman Geeks, or you can contact us at Necology101class@gmail.com. We know we have a lot of fandom choices out there, so thanks for letting us invade your fandom universe. Because we are still the knights who say, Neek!